Hello. It's time for another episode of Forbeck on the Forefront. Join us as we take another deep dive into one of the many challenges cancer researchers face as they work toward a cure. It's a fascinating look at how cancer cells disguise themselves to avoid detection and how we, in turn, must unmask them. Let's listen in.
Welcome to today's deep dive. So I want you to imagine a bank robber who, right as the police surround the building, they don't just put on body armor. They literally alter their own DNA to become an innocent bank teller.
Right, so the police just walk right past them without a second glance.
Exactly. And that is essentially what cancer does to survive modern medicine.
Yeah.
It's this biological disappearing act called cellular plasticity. Today, we're pulling from a really fascinating transcript from the William Guy Forbeck Cancer Research Foundation.
Yeah, and our mission today is to understand how tumors pull off this evasion and, why radical collaboration is pretty much our best hope to defeat it.
Right, because if you think about cells as specialized workers, like a heart cell or a lung cell, what happens when those workers suddenly abandon their posts and just change their entire identity?
Well, for decades, the fight against cancer was mostly focused on mutations. Researchers were looking for broken genes, like
a mutated KRAS or P53 gene.
Exactly, genes that fundamentally broke the cell's rulebook and caused it to divide uncontrollably. But researchers recently realized cancers can actually evade our best targeted therapies without changing their underlying genetic code at all.
Wait, I'm confused. If the cell's DNA isn't actually mutating, how is it surviving a drug that was specifically engineered to target and kill it? Is the tumor just hiding?
It's changing its gene expression. So to define cellular plasticity simply, it's the ability of a cell to fundamentally change its specialized state. The cancer cells alter the volume of specific genes being produced, effectively disguising themselves as a different type of cell entirely.
Okay, let's unpack this. So instead of the criminal just getting better armor, they are constantly changing their disguises to evade the police.
That's a great way to put it, yeah. The tumor literally alters its makeup.
And when a tumor does that, the targeted drug you're using suddenly becomes, useless.
Completely useless, because the cellular target itself has just vanished. It's why so many modern therapies eventually face resistance.
Why does that backdoor mechanism even exist in our biology? It seems incredibly dangerous to have cells capable of shape-shifting on a whim.
What's fascinating here is that this is actually a reawakening of normal developmental biology. It's just how our tissues respond to injury.
Oh, so it's a survival thing.
Right. Your cells need to survive these tiny microscopic injuries that happen daily. We see this super clearly in a condition called Barrett's metaplasia.
That has to do with acid reflux, right?
Yeah. The cells lining the esophagus are repeatedly exposed to stomach acid from reflux. To survive that constant stress, those esophageal cells transform to look and act like intestine cells.
Because intestine cells are naturally built to handle acid.
Exactly, but it's a short-term fix that creates a long-term disaster. By unlocking that plasticity to survive the acid, they inadvertently prime themselves for cancer down the line.
Wow.
And once they remember how to change their makeup, they can break the tight connections that hold tissues together, like in the epithelial linings, and spread.
Like metastasize across the body?
Right. And once a lung cancer cell breaks away and alters its expression to resemble a completely different tissue type, the standard medical playbook goes out the window.
Which means a lung cancer specialist won't even recognize it anymore. You suddenly need a gut specialist or a prostate specialist to weigh in. How can science possibly fight a moving target like that?
Well, that's why the William Guy Forbeck Cancer Research Foundation is actively forcing experts out of their traditional silos.
If the cancer spans different isolated systems, the research has to as well.
Exactly. Their upcoming May 2026 forum in Princeton is built entirely around this concept. They are bringing together pathologists, basic biologists, translational researchers, people who traditionally stay in their specific tumor-type bubbles.
I saw they're also intentionally mixing career stages, right? Bringing fresh, early career scholars face-to-face with established leaders to share findings.
Yeah, putting them all in the same room. Because you can't have prostate researchers and lung researchers trying to solve the exact same resistance mechanism in total isolation.
No, absolutely not. We saw how powerful that cross-disciplinary model was with the Cancer Grand Challenge driven by Cancer Research UK and the National Cancer Institute. You have to pool funding and diverse perspectives for overlapping themes like plasticity.
Exactly.
So, what does this all mean? Ultimately, the goal of breaking down these silos is to develop a completely new class of drugs.
Right. Not therapies that just attack the tumor, but therapies that block the cellular sheep-shifting itself, cutting off the resistance pathway before the cancer can even use it.
It really makes you wonder about the long game here for your own health.
Oh, for sure.
If cellular plasticity is fundamentally just a natural survival mechanism for daily wear and tear like the acid reflux, could the future of cancer prevention lie not in attacking the tumor, but in finding a way to safely freeze our healthy cells' identities?
Yeah, if we can stop them from overreacting to daily microscopic stress in the first place.
They might just stay exactly who they're supposed to be.
Well, that's about it for today. Thank you for listening. We hope this podcast offered some unique insights into how we approach cancer research. If you know anyone who might find our podcast interesting, please share it with them. Your continued support of the William Guy Forbeck Cancer Research Foundation makes all of this possible. See you next time.